my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Liv. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be talking all about my Christmas and holiday reads, even some wintry reads that are very high up on my list, and I could not be more excited. Has finally come to bring out all the Christmas decorations and the Christmas books. Like I said, I have a massive TBR, and hopefully this gives you guys some recommendations this holiday season, but I have quite a bit to get through today and share with you guys. I have not yet decorated my shelves for Christmas, but we will get to that. So I'm just channeling the Christmas mood, wearing the Christmas sweater, drinking some hot coffee. Go ahead and grab a hot beverage of your own, cozy up, and get ready for all the holiday cheer. First of all, I had to mention a Harry Potter read-along that my friend Kendall is going to be hosting throughout the month of December. Most of us this time of year get very nostalgic. We watch the same movies, we read the same books, and for me, that is Harry Potter. So I could not make this video without mentioning the fact that my friend Kendall is going to be doing a Harry Potter read-along in the month of December, and I'm definitely going to be participating. I have reread the first book twice, but I've only read the other books once. This book is so gorgeous, and it's really going to enhance my experience reading it in this edition, even though this is my third reread at this point. I love this series. It's my favorite series of all time, and it is time for a reread. This edition has all sorts of pop-outs and paper, and then if I have the time, I'm going to be reading the second book, which I have yet to read in the illustrated form. I've had these illustrated editions for years. I think I have up to 3 or 4 at this point, but I have never read the illustrated version. I do not know why. I've just been waiting for the perfect opportune moment to dive into these, and oh my gosh, the illustrations are absolutely stunning. So if you guys are interested in reading along with us, I will leave all the details below. I believe we're going to be reading the first 4 books in December and then continuing the series through January. Next, I'm going to be reading along with my other friends that host the Cozy Hollow Book Club, and for December they decided to choose Apple Cider Slaying. If you've never heard of their book club before, I will leave it again in the description below, but they read all cozy mysteries. This will be my third cozy mystery, I believe, and I am so excited. I'm just gonna go ahead and read you the back because honestly it sounds hilarious and such a good time. Blossom Valley, West Virginia is home to Smythe Orchards, Winnie and her granny's beloved 25-acre farm and family business. But any way you slice it, it's struggling. That's why they're trying to drum up business with the first annual Christmas at the Orchard, a good old-fashioned holiday festival with enough delicious draw to satisfy apple-picking locals and cider-loving tourists alike, until the whole endeavor takes a sour turn when the body of Nadine Cooper, Granny's longtime grudge-holding nemesis, is found lodged in the apple press. So of course they are going to be blamed for this murder, and I just love the dynamic of a granny and a granddaughter having a close relationship. This book sounds like such a fun time, but also kind of gruesome. I have 3 or 4 more cozy mysteries on this list that I would love to get to if I have the time. I actually have a 2-week paid Christmas vacation this year, so I'm pretty hopeful that I'll actually be able to make it through most of these books. But I had to add a Cup of Holiday Fear by Ellie Alexandra on my list because I've heard nothing but good things about Ellie Alexandra. I believe this is number 4 or even 3 in the series. The first one is Meet Your Baker, which I also own. Typically, I'm not super interested in reading series out of order, whether it matters or not, which it doesn't with cozy mysteries, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the plunge because this one is Christmas themed and it just sounds so good. I'm also just gonna go ahead and read the back of this one for you as well because there's something about cozy mysteries and their synopses that literally just makes me want to jump right into the story. Ashland, Oregon looks as pretty as a postcard this holiday season. The halls are decked, stockings hung, and eyes are all aglow, mostly thanks to the buttered rum. Jules Capshaw and her staff at Tort are busier than ever. Still, even the town's most in-demand bakers need to take a break. So Jules invites everyone to celebrate at the local Winchester Inn's Dickens Feast, a 6-course extravaganza with Yorkshire pudding, which by the way is amazing, Christmas goose, and all the trimmings. But as the weather outside becomes frightful, things inside turn less delightful when one of the guests ends up as dead as Scrooge's doornail. I love the cover of this. I love the sound of it. I feel like with cozy mysteries, it's hard to find Christmas books that are not cheesy, but this one sounds like it has just enough holiday touches to it to where I'm really gonna enjoy it and not be like rolling my eyes while I read it, so hopefully that's the case. The one wintry cozy mystery that is going to be my #1 book that I read is going to be Dead in Gondola by Anne Claire. I've never read anything by this author. I've never heard about the author. I'm still really new to cozy mysteries, but Lauren had this high on her list. I think she's even reading it right now and said it is fantastic, and so is the audiobook. So I think I'm going to be getting the audiobook for this one and reading it very soon. In this story, we have our main character named Ellie Christie, who returns to her small hometown to run her family's bookshop in Colorado. She has an older sister. They also have a cat named Agatha. Perched in a Swiss-style hamlet accessible by ski gondola and a twisty mountain road, there is a destination that is known for its maze of shelves and relaxing reading lounge, but then trouble shows up one day and someone ends up dead on the gondola on the way up to this destination. I cannot wait. You have Agatha Christie vibes, you have a sister dynamic, you have a cat, it's during winter, like how much more could you want? The next mystery, I'm not sure if it's actually considered cozy, but I know it's not as thrillery and it's not quite as gory or gruesome. It's called The Christmas Murder Game. This book also came out recently. I've never heard of the author before, but I'm definitely going to be saving it for Christmas week. Just by the back, I'm already getting Agatha Christie vibes and Knives Out because it says 12 clues, 12 keys, 12 days at Christmas, but how many will die before the 12th night? In this story, unfortunately, the main character's mother has passed away and there is a family estate that haunts her dreams for some reason. I believe her mother was killed here many years ago and she just dreads going back and doesn't want to. But then she gets a letter from her aunt one day that tells her that if she can find the 12 keys, she may also be able to find, I think, a letter that gives the identity of her mother's murderer. So she has to compete with her 12 different cousins to find these 12 different keys so she is able to find the identity of who killed her mother. But I really want to know if there's going to be haunted house vibes in this book, because if there is, I think it's going to make this book a lot more fun, a lot more creepy, but I love that there's going to be like another family dynamic in this book. I'm super stoked about this one, and this is one that I'm really hoping lives up to the synopsis because it sounds phenomenal. Next on my list, I have had this book for so many years now, maybe 3 at this point, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. Maybe because it's short stories or it reads like an anthology, but it's Agatha Christie's Midwinter Murder. This is just a compilation of 12 different stories that are wintry themed that Agatha Christie has written over the years she was alive, and I am so very interested because some of the titles sound super kind of creepy. We have 3 Blind Mice, The Chocolate Box, A Christmas Tragedy, Sanctuary, The Mystery of Hunter's Lodge, The World's End, Christmas Adventure. I really hope this book does end up being an adventure. I've only read 2 other Agatha Christie at this point, which is Death on the Nile and Then There Were None. Of course, I've also seen The Murder on Orient Express, which is kind of wintry themed. I would definitely recommend that book and the movie for this time of year. I just cannot wait to see what these stories are going to be about. Now jumping right into some Christmas romances, which you guys know this is the first year I've read romance books, so I am especially excited to actually kind of be interested in reading Christmas romance because this feeling has never happened before. And let me just say, I have a book haul coming and there's a lot of Christmas romance, so I didn't want to give away all the books that I'm planning to read, but I am going to tell you about 3 that I am very excited to read that are probably going to be top priority for me. The first one is called Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. Yes, I may or may have already started this, and yes, I freaking love it, you guys. I have not seen anyone talk about this book. There are not many reviews. I think it even came out in October of this year, but if this is not on your radar, it needs to be right now. I believe it originally was published on Kindle or Kindle Unlimited, so you can probably still find it there as well. But this book is like Christina Lauren and Emily Henry had a baby. This book is everything I wanted to read going into the holiday season. It's not overly Christmas, it's not overly like festive. I just love a good friends to lovers story so much. That's probably like my favorite romance trope because it's the most believable to me. But in this story we have Molly and Andrew who have met at the airport Christmas Eve or a couple days before for the past decade to fly together home. They both fly back home from Chicago to Dublin, Ireland. Molly could care less about Christmas. She's kind of a Grinch, and Andrew absolutely loves it. It describes all these different sweaters, like these ugly Christmas sweaters that he wears every year, and it is golden. I love it so much. But one Christmas, there's this freak snowstorm to where they are not able to get home at all. So Molly is full on determined to get Andrew home. She knows just how much he loves Christmas. This book is such a ride already. I'm only 80 pages in and it's gotten my adrenaline going. I'm rooting for the two of them as they're running through the airport and trying to figure out all these flights and all the details, and I just love it so much. They make such a great team. I cannot wait to see where this goes. Please put it on your radar because I know for a fact I'm going to be picking up way more books by this author. The next book I absolutely had to read in December because December's in the title. It's called Once Upon a December by Amy E. Reichert. This is actually the same author as the Kindred Spirits Club, which I have not yet read. I'm really hoping that this could possibly be a new favorite romance author for me, but this is one of those synopses that I have to read the back for you because it just gives off the best Christmas feeling. With a name like Astra Noel Snow, holiday spirit isn't just a seasonal specialty, it's a way of life. But after a stinging divorce, Astra's yearly trip to the Milwaukee Christmas market takes on a whole new meaning. She's ready to eat, drink, and be merry, especially with the handsome stranger who saves the best kringle for her at his family bakery. Jack Clausen stays the same while the world outside the joyful street changes, magically leaping from one December to the next every 4 weeks. He's never minded living this charmed existence until Astra shows him the life he's been missing. This definitely sounds like it has some magical realism involved, which makes me even more excited because you guys know how much I love fantasy. So you can imagine my excitement when I heard there was going to be a magical element involved in this book. So I immediately had to bump it up on my list for December. And if I feel like a good cry or just a really emotional book, I decided to pick up Always in December by Emily Stone. The main reason why I wanted to read this book is because her new one just came out and it has to do with a treasure hunt, and it sounds like such a sweet story. But this book absolutely blew up last year and I knew I had to get to it this year. I cannot let another year go by. Our main character named Josie always writes her dead parents letters that says missing you always, but one day when she's going to put the letter in the mail, she's knocked over by a really handsome guy on a bike. She's usually very emotional around Christmas time and doesn't like to celebrate, and it's more of a depressing time of year for her, but I believe the guy she meets turns that around for her, so I'm really excited to see where this story goes. But I feel like it'd be a really good book to vlog as well because I know so many people have loved and cried over this one. The next couple books I want to talk about are fantasy books. I feel like I have not read a really good 5-star fantasy in forever. I've been reading a lot of mystery thrillers, a lot of romance and things like that, but there's a lot of good wintry fantasies out there. One of them being Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Novik. This book is loved by so many people, especially in the booktube community, and it is just high time that I, as a fantasy reader, read this book. If I can just find the time to dedicate to this almost 500-page book, I feel like I could really enjoy it and love it as much as everyone else. And I cannot remember what this book is about at all. I thought this one was the Rumpelstiltskin retelling, but it could actually be Uprooted. I'm not sure which is which, so clearly I don't know what I'm talking about and I need to just read this book already. Needless to say, this is high up on my list and I've heard nothing but great things about this author. I've heard that she can write atmosphere extremely well, and if a plot is slow and I'm not even loving the characters that much, if the atmosphere is really great in a fantasy, I know I'm already gonna love it. And the next book that I actually had a really hard time getting a hold of, I'm not sure if Amazon is just that slow right now or if this book is just so hyped that it's really hard to get a copy, but my copy of A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking finally came in just in time. I have really been loving T. Kingfisher. I read Nettle and Bone and really enjoyed it. I also actually DNF'd What Moves the Dead, but I was really enjoying the atmosphere. I just didn't have the time to finish it, unfortunately, but this book sounds so cozy, so wintry, and it almost sounds like a cozy mystery of sorts. 14-year-old Mona isn't like the wizards charged with defending the city. She can't control lightning or speak to water. Her familiar is a sourdough starter and her magic only works on bread. She has a comfortable life in her aunt's bakery making gingerbread men dance, but Mona's life is turned upside down when she finds a dead body on the bakery floor. An assassin is stalking the streets of Mona City, preying on the magic folk, and it appears that Mona is his next target. Like I said, this sounds exactly like a bakery cozy mystery. I don't know what to expect, but I love the fact that there's magic involved and wizards. Kind of sounds like Harry Potter a little bit as well. Just by reading the synopsis, there was so many like buzzwords for me. I knew that I had to fit this one in this month. And last but definitely not least, I have 3 Wintery middle grade that I have talked about year after year, that I know people like Gavin and Lexi absolutely love these books. I do not know why the heck it has taken me so dang long to read these, but this year is going to be the year. They're not exactly Christmas themed, so if I don't get to them this month, I can definitely read them in January. The first one being Frostheart by Jamie Littler. This book has been around the community year after year after year. I don't know, once again, why it's taken me so long to read this. I don't know much about it other than the main character is trying to find his missing parents and he ends up befriending a Yeti, and there is just all sorts of like quirky characters and adventures they go on. There's such amazing illustrations in this book as well, and I love the cover, how there's like a little pop out there. I just know I'm gonna absolutely fall in love with this book, and I think there's others in this series at this point. I could be completely wrong, but honestly I just feel so behind on middle grade. I feel like I don't often get in the mood to read middle grade anymore, but for some reason around this time of year when you just want a really good feel-good book but also something to just fly through because you don't have a lot of brain power or a lot of time, middle grade is absolutely perfect. So this will be the first one that I pick up. Winter House by Ben Gutterson is another one that has been sitting on my shelves for so long, but this one would be more for people that like mystery and even a little bit of magic, because I know in this book we have a magical library and there's lots of puzzles. There's even pictures with all the puzzles in here that you can kind of help the characters solve. Personally, I just love how interactive middle grade books are, and I honestly wish they would do that for adult books as well. The second book is called The Secrets of Winter House, and the cover is just as stunning, so it is seriously about time that I read this. And last but not least, one of my favorite middle grade authors is Sophie Anderson, and this is one of the few books I have not read, called The Girl Who Speaks Bear. This sounds like the perfect wintry book, and another one that I know for a fact I'm gonna give it 5 stars if I would just read it. Found abandoned in a bear cave as a baby, Yanka has always wondered where she is from. She tries to ignore the strange whispers and looks from the villagers, wishing she was as strong inside as she is on the outside. When Yanka has to flee her house, looking for answers about who she really is, from icy rivers to smoldering mountains, meeting an ever-growing herd of extraordinary friends along the way. Does that not just sound like such a fun, adventurous time? I cannot wait to see all the creatures that she meets along the way. Again, just gorgeous illustrations throughout this book. Oh my gosh, we've got like gold foiling on the front for the snow. How can you just not want to pick this up and read it? Well, my friends, we have come to the end of this big wintry TBR, and honestly, the TBR just keeps growing. I just got a couple more wintry Christmas books in the mail. Like I said, I'm going to be having a big book haul coming for you guys, so if you need more recommendations for this time of year, I've definitely got you covered. I hope you all are having the best start to your holiday season. I know I am. I'm actually about to go decorate my Christmas tree right now, which you guys will also see. But thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I appreciate it so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next bookish video.